Craig, are Liverpool really preparing a bid for Neves? As for spending money this summer, I can see Slot working with the academy players, pushing them into the first team contention. And thank you, Stevie Boy, for your super chat. To answer your question, I don't know on the first part of it. I know, the same as everybody else, that Neves is on a list of players that Liverpool will look at in that position, but it's hard to say here confidently, yes, Liverpool are going to put forward a bid, when only the other day we're hearing that Liverpool aren't sure if they're going to dip into the defensive midfielder market. So if we're not sure about the position, the odds of us really going in and putting €100+ million offer down, I don't see those two things as being connected, unless the club are kind of playing it cool and then boom. But I wouldn't be holding my breath on it. Now, we did hear from the Portuguese side that they expect that offer this week, so I guess we'll figure it out soon enough. And with regards to the manager's spending in the summer, that's my big fear, is that that's what FSG are going to do. That is the fear. Because if you bring in a manager that isn't Jurgen Klopp, yes, he will bring through youth players and work with them. Of course he will. That's his talent, much like Jurgen Klopp. He's great at developing young players. But he has to have the here and now players, because FSG can continuously write off seasons. Talking about future projects down the line, when do we get to win? When do we get to go out and actually put the team together without a deficiency and look at it and go, that's a good squad. That's a squad that's complete, that isn't missing a player or two. It just feels like, again, we're being managed to expect the bare minimum, and it isn't good enough. I've been too nice over the last while to our owners. They need to just put their hand in their pockets at this point, and I'm going to keep calling it out because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being told how brilliant we are as a club, how much money we generate, but yet we're always paupers in the transfer market. The con has to stop. It has to stop. Where is the fucking money, John? Pay up. Make us competitive and stop relying on managers to pull miracles out their arse. Yes, we all want youth players through. Yes, we want the manager to improve the playing staff that are already at the club. But we also want to win. Not just qualify for the Champions League, John. Not just get that money back into the bank account every year. But I want to go into the Champions League to win it. I want to go into the Premier League to win it. And that's what a Declan Rice does. That's what a Rodri does. That's a statement signing. We're once again having our balls tickled, but we're being left with blue balls by the end of it. I know at the heart of it, my whole "where's the money, John" is just a bit of a catchphrase. But there's real meaning behind it for me. I'm getting fed up of the apologists for our owners. I'm getting a pain in my arse being told that they saved the club. The fuck they did. They didn't save the club. They went and they seen a good opportunity and they bought the club. And we've all given them the credit for the good stuff they do. But they need to be called out on being tight arses. And if you're one of those people that are happy with it and think that this is the Liverpool way and all of that stuff, I respect your opinion. That's absolutely fine. But don't come and have a go at the rest of us for wanting to have ambition. You can be happy, content, go to the games. I respect that. Fair play to you. But don't have a go at us when we just want to be competitive. Because I don't know. It hurts me when we finish second. It hurts me when we lose another Champions League final. It hurts me when we get to another final and come up just short. Because we can see the little things. We can see the small little positions. The little lack of depth. The players who, they're injury prone. Well, we knew that 2 years ago and we still haven't resolved the deficiencies in the squad. What's the point in bringing everybody back, putting the band back together, unless we're going to see action? The problem here is that I can sit here and moan about the lack of money being spent. And the response I'll get is, and it's understandable, the window hasn't opened yet, Craig. Wait and see. That was grand for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. But here we are again. And it feels like we're being set up for frustration. Because the talk is there. The same talk we hear every window. The money's there for a generational talent. Well, where is this generational talent? Because we're yet to buy one. We've been linked with everyone that's come around in the last 10 years, but we've never got one. So when can we get that generational talent? Or shut the fuck up lying to us about the money being available? I've decided no more Mr. Nice Guy, by the way. I'm done with it. I'll be nice to my community, of course, but it's us against the world. And I'm done with it now. I'm done with the club ignoring us. I'm done with trying to please everybody. I'm just going to be me and call this shit out. So if FSG don't pony up, then I'm going to be here every goddamn day calling John cheap and making sure that I have my say. Because there's too many brown nosers now. There's too many people just towing the fucking company line. We deserve better than we're getting from these owners in the market. And hiding over in Boston and the other side of the world. Something he said last week really bothered me. He was talking about the Red Sox and he said, myself and my wife Linda live and work in Boston. We want to win. Well, how about the other side of the Atlantic, John? How about the people who buy those season tickets, buy your memorabilia, travel from other parts of the world? They can't keep writing off seasons. We want to win. You have a chance to win. Please, for the love of God, show some ambition. I'll never get excited till I see the player turning up at the training ground in Kirby, said David Massett. Again, I respect and appreciate that, mate, but I just get fed up of it because it's frustration at the end of every window. Even if we go back to our greatest window, right, and I think most of us will agree, I think it was 2018 when we signed Alisson Becker and Virgil van Dijk. That was a great window. Or a great period, sorry, because Van Dijk was the winter window and then it was the summer window. But that was a great period. But there was also frustration in that window, if you remember correctly. Because the last piece of that jigsaw was supposed to be the kid from Lyon, whose name has absolutely escaped me at this point, which didn't work out. We've seen the training pictures. We've seen him doing bits and pieces, but we never got the deal over the line. Nabil Fekir, thank you. But that was quickly forgotten about. But that deficiency, that lack of that extra attacking player, wasn't forgotten about by me and many others. So it was another nearly window. We're always 2 or 3 players away. Whereas we look at our opponents, we look at City, we look at Arsenal, and we see 2-3 players deep in every position. But we're always being sold a vision about the Liverpool way and, you know, doing things in the right order and blah blah. Just spend the fucking money when you need to spend it, or off you pop. Simply. Looks like Elise going to 6th place Chelsea. Meanwhile, we're stuck with an aging 32-year-old winner who leave on a free. And that says everything, said Mahmood. I'm trying to find some positivity to reply to that with, but you're bang on. You're bang on. Chelsea are out there yet again. Didn't get Elise last year, back in from this year. Out there bringing in Adebayo, looking to build out their squad, looking to get their new manager as strong a squad as he can to go and win stuff. And we're getting told, well, wouldn't it be great if Arne Slot's able to coach the younger players? I think you've summarised it there, Mahmood. And you'll be called greedy, and you'll be laughed at, and you'll be ridiculed, and you'll be mocked, and you'll be called ungrateful, and all the other crap that we have to listen to from the apologists. But ultimately, you've every goddamn right to expect the owners to do their part of this. Because our managers can only do so much. The players can only do so much. But they need the teammates. They need the group. They need the stardust. We wanted a CDM for 2 years now. How hard is it to get one? Seemingly quite hard, Harry. And last year we were made to look like idiots. Dress that up however we want, but we were made to look like idiots. Chelsea not only beat us to the number 1 target last year, they then beat us to the reserve target. So they ended up getting a defensive midfielder and the younger player coming through, and we ended up getting a 31-year-old Endo, who, by the way, has been very good. This is not a rant against Endo. But that's the difference. Where's our Caicedo? Where's our Declan Rice? Where's our absolute bona fide guaranteed success that's going to be dropped in to make us competitive again? Even at the end of last season, it was the most predictable thing in the world that we would come up just short because of fatigue and a lack of options. And ironically, it was when we went back from using the younger players to the senior pros that we kind of fell apart. And yet I still have to sit here and listen to some people telling me that Mohamed Salah is still amazing, or that Bradley shouldn't be right back, when we seen the younger players were grinding out the wins. It's all madness to me. Could it be that generational talent would always pick teams like Real Madrid? It's hard to compete with that kind of pull. Yes, potentially. But Manchester United got Ronaldo and we turned him down. because David Moores and Rick Parry didn't want to spend 9.5 or 10 million quid on a teenager. So we've had opportunities in the past and not pulled the trigger. And again, I find it very hard to square this circle. Liverpool want to sign the best players. And we've seen other players like here. That tag on Lenny Yoro from Real Madrid. The tag of sign him, regardless of the cost, or if he fits into the team now, because we know he's going to be a superstar. We paid £75 million for our superstar, for Virgil van Dijk, worth every goddamn penny. Without a shadow of a doubt, brilliant signing, love the man, absolute success. But that's one side of this debate. The other side is, we could have had him for 12 million quid a couple of years earlier, and didn't. And that's the part that frustrates me. Because if we're being told we have to account for every penny, we have to be clever, we have to make our money work, how do you square off spending 75 million quid on somebody you could have got for 12? And you were told about it by somebody inside your own camp. Gary McAllister told Rodgers to go and sign Van Dijk from Celtic. He didn't, and then he went to Southampton and we ended up paying 75 million quid a few years later. It's not rocket science, but we just procrastinate, hold off, wait, and don't pull the trigger. By Chechik, Bradley, Kwanzaa, talented, but we still need the here and now, so kids can come great over time. We can't pressure all the kids. That's a really good point, Harry. As you've said, we all love an academy product coming through, of course. But when your academy product's coming through and also has to be the saviour, that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on the kid, it's a lot of pressure on the manager, and it's a big leap of faith for everyone to have to take. And usually they take time. Season after season, we're always a little bit away. And the owners don't seem to have learned their lesson. And what scared me the most was, we had the best manager in the world, and they didn't back him. Now it feels like we don't even have a manager who's going to advocate for us anymore, because at the moment he's a head coach and he doesn't have the voice to speak up. He doesn't have the voice to stand against the owners. Jurgen had all of that, and we still didn't hear enough said about the owners. That's my fear, is that it's going to go even worse now, backwards. Craig, to be honest, I agree with you. I don't think FSG are good enough, but you have to give credit. Last year they spent 150 million with no Champions League. Still don't think they're good enough, but you have to credit that. Last year's net spend, I think, was 60 or 70. And I did give them credit for that transfer window. And it was a good window. But let's look at the window as a whole. So we had a target of 115 million for one player. We didn't sign that player. We didn't sign the 50 million player. We signed an 18 million quid player. So our solution was to drop down 96 million quid or 97 million quid for the solution. Then we bought Dominic Szoboszlai, which felt like a bit of a rush job in all honesty, because that was a deal that was done very quickly at the end of his clause. Then we had a very end of the window Ryan Gravenberch signing, which was grand. And Alexis McAllister was one of the greatest signings of last summer across the league, no doubt about it. Knowing about that release clause, triggering it, brilliant. So I agree. I do give credit where it's due, and last summer was a pretty good window. But my point is, we still went into the season short. We still went into the season relying on either Thiago not to be unfit or everything to go great with our centre-backs and nobody to pick up an injury. And neither of them worked out. On top of that, Stefan Bajcetic missed the whole campaign. He's going to have to get back up to speed. That's going to take time to get to match fitness. It feels like we're always playing catch-up when there are a couple of decent opportunities right in front of our eyes.